Hey G-Fans, GojiFan93 here, and welcome to day 23 of the Godzilla thon 2014. Today we will be taking a look at Godzilla 1998. Oh, alright, and then the figure that I have is, the only thing I have is this like Happy Meal toy or Taco Bell figure that I got a long time ago. So that's what I got to represent him. Is it even showing in the? I don't even think it's showing in the frame. It's so small. All right, guys. So Godzilla 98, also known as Gino, also known as Zilla, and probably the most hated thing in the Godzilla franchise by a lot of fans. Now, I've talked plenty times before. I made, my first review of this film. I didn't bash it on, a lot, and I'd made a kaiju discussion video defending the character of Zilla, not the movie itself, but the character, defending the kaiju himself. And I still stand by the fact that Zilla himself is a very cool kaiju, and I'll explain later in the review of why I think so. But because this is a Godzilla-thon, I'm going to talk about the film as if it, as being a Godzilla movie. So in that case, this is a terrible movie. It's a terrible remake. It's a terrible reimagining of what Godzilla is. They got everything wrong. Godzilla runs away from the military. Godzilla gets killed by conventional weapons. The design it doesn't look anything like Godzilla. It's more of a lizard creature. He's way smaller. He's more hunched over. He's fast. He's not supposed to be super fast and agile. He can, climb a building and not even, wreck it or whatever. There's just a lot of things they got wrong with this movie. The story is sloppily put together. The characters, I could care less, except for two characters in this film I really do like, actually. The first was the camera guy. I don't know his name though, because I don't try to remember a lot about the story of this film. But I do like the camera guy, the one guy where Zilla's foot was about to slam on him, and he's, and he survives, and he has the camera. He's like, he just starts laughing and stuff. I like that character. I actually did enjoy him, and then I also liked the French group, like the what was they called, the Homeland Security or whatever, French Secret Service thing people. I liked that main character, or that guy. He was really cool too. Like the scene that was just so funny, that there was like this running joke about how they're trying to have, or he's trying to get coffee, but every time he drinks he's like, oh, I thought this is terrible American coffee, and I can't do a French accent well, but like those scenes are really funny. Also when he's like when they're trying to get back into the city, U.S. soldiers like ask their credentials, and the guy's he's speaking in an Elvis accent. It's really funny. So those two characters I like, but the other characters, forgettable. Don't like them. I hate them. It's just bleh. I guess another good thing I can say about the film, in context of it being of reviewing it as a Godzilla film. Everything is really bad about it, except for the soundtrack. The soundtrack is really good. I did enjoy the soundtrack. Because I have the 50th anniversary soundtrack 6 packs, they did include the Zilla soundtrack, and I actually really enjoyed it. And it wasn't it was the official motion picture soundtrack. It wasn't the various artists soundtrack, the one like where they get a bunch of bands together and they just compile songs that relate to the movie or something like that. I don't know. That kind of stuff is really weird. So not that one. Not like that Come With Me song or whatever. But no, the score for the music is really, or for the movie is really good. But other than that, when you're reviewing it as a Godzilla film, yes, it is bad. It is really bad. They got everything wrong. Personally though, this is my own opinion. I might get a lot of hate for this, but I still would rather watch this film than Godzilla's Revenge. That's just my own opinion. It's just me. So, if you guys rather watch Godzilla's Revenge than this, that's perfectly fine. But in my opinion, I just really hate Godzilla's Revenge. This, at least, I could find a little bit of entertainment with. So yeah, but I don't really want to. I mean, the story's just, it's kind of all over the place. I can't really talk about it because it's just like, it's basically Zilla comes, the humans try to figure out how to kill him, and that's it. I mean, it's just I don't want to go into details because this movie's just all over the place, and frankly I don't want to talk about it because I was kind of I mean. I don't want to like repeat myself of the previous videos that I've done. So if you want to watch a review of me, talking about the good aspects of the movie and, defending Zilla himself, please go watch my very first review of this movie and then also watch the Kaiju discussion video. I think it's episode 2 and it's titled Zilla. So in those 2 videos, I talk about the good stuff about Zilla and, all that stuff. Now, but what I do want to talk about here is why I think Zilla is a cool monster. And I think I said this in the Kaiju discussion video, but I'm just going to go over it really quickly for you guys in case you didn't see the video. There are 3 things that I really liked about Zilla. 1, the fact that he was really smart. There were 3 scenes where he completely tricked the military into doing more collateral damage themselves than Zilla did at all. The first thing is when the helicopters were, the fighter helicopters were chasing him, shooting the missiles at him. He goes through a building, and they're all just waiting there. They think he's over there, but then he pops out behind the building and just takes out all the helicopters. I love that. That was really good. Then when they do the fish thing, where they grab a lot of fish. Oh yeah, and by the way, that's a lot of fish. Yeah, there we go. Got it out of the way. When they pile the fish on for the second time to try and lure him out for the second time, Zilla he remembers what happened the last time, that it was a trap. So he actually just runs away again, and then once again tricking the military. And then the last time he tricks the military, which is I think one of the best tricks that he did, or the most clever things they did, is when he was underwater and the submarines were shooting missiles at him, and he just basically maneuvered around them, had the missiles follow him, and then he just went under the submarine, and the missiles hit the submarine. I mean, like that. Zilla is a clever creature, and it was awesome how he was able to do that. Now, is the real Godzilla, would he do that? No. He would atomic breath their ass and he'd destroy them and stuff like that. He would take the missile and be like, that tickled. But this guy, because Zilla, not Godzilla, but Zilla, because he's a weaker kaiju, he has to do that. He has to evade the military. And that's how he wins. Now, the biggest thing at the end, he gets killed by the military by, a couple missiles to the sides of his body and he dies. Now, I'm going to come out and say, this is a sad scene. It's sad. It's sad. You see Zilla just trapped in the wires of the bridge and they just shoot the missiles at him and he dies. It's sad. It's just my opinion. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who hate this film, but when you look at it as just another kaiju film, it's a sad death. It's like when you see King Kong when he gets killed. It's sad. You don't want to see him because you're kind of rooting for this character, But anyways, so I just think, I saw a post by Matt Frank recently, and he said that, or I think it was by Matt Frank, I'm not sure, but it was basically, to sum it up, it just said, I think it's about time fans just need to accept this movie into the franchise and just let it go, just like what I was talking about in my kaiju discussion video, so that we can move on for the next film that's coming out in a week, by the way, guys. Oh, a week, literally. So we can make way for the next remake, which is going to be better than this one. So, but that's the thing. We just got to accept it. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it. I mean, I know some fans there that they hate everything about this film, and that's perfectly fine because, frankly, I was still kind of young when this film came out, so I wasn't as burned as I was as older G fans out there. So for the older G fans out there, I completely understand where you're coming from, because you guys were expecting something fantastic. You guys are having the same, or you guys back then had the same expectations that we, at my age or younger kids are having for this next film. We're having that kind of excitement and hype for it, and if this next film burns us just as much as this did for you guys, we would have the same hatred for it. So I totally understand. I'm not ragging on anybody, I'm not doing anything. I'm just saying I totally understand, but I think we just have to accept it as part of the franchise, because there are many different things that Toho has made to solidify this character into the franchise. Not as necessarily as canon, but just to say that yes, Zilla is part of the Godzilla franchise. As in, in GMK, they make a reference saying, oh, well, the US thought they saw Godzilla, and they're like, well, no, that wasn't really Godzilla. Boom, okay? Final Wars, Godzilla actually fights Zilla. Yeah, it was more of a joke, but he was still there. You see? And then there's 2 video games, at least that I know so far, that Zilla was in a Godzilla game. Okay, this is Zilla in a Godzilla game licensed by Toho. First one was the trading card battle on the PlayStation 1. Zilla was on it. Actually, Zilla is on the front cover, along with Godzilla. So, Also, the other one was Godzilla Generations. Not the second one, not Maximum Impact, but he was in the first Generations. Now, that's kind of because these games came out around the same time this movie came out. But if Toho really hated Zilla that much, he would not be in those games. They wouldn't let him. But they did. And they relabeled him, they rebranded him as Zilla. So therefore solidifying him in the franchise. So whether you like it or not, Zilla is here to stay, and he's not going anywhere. But that doesn't mean you have to like him, and I totally understand for the older G fans out there that you guys despise it. I get it. It's fine. It's fine. It's just because I'm a little bit younger that I see it more objectively, and I can just, okay, well, it sucked, but I like the kaiju itself. Now, when it comes to the movie itself and the way Roland Emmerich did it, yeah, he can screw off. He fucked it up. He was terrible. And yes, I do own 2 copies, DVD and Blu-ray. What are you gonna do? What? You want to fight about it? Anyways, so it's just anyways, main thing, Zilla, or the movie Godzilla 98, terrible movie when you look at it as a Godzilla film. But when you look at it as another kaiju film, or if you look at it as more of a remake of Creature from 20,000 Fathoms, which I believe James Rolfe said, I'm going to credit him on that, it's a better movie. You can actually find some enjoyment out of it. So yeah, and also what I actually recommend you guys to do is, now that the new 2014 soundtrack is out and you can listen to it, I highly recommend listening to this soundtrack and the 2014 soundtrack and kind of compare and contrast in how they sound, because both soundtracks, in my opinion, are really good. So anyways, so that's my review for Godzilla. So I didn't realize it'd be this long, actually. I thought I'd be kind of done with it that quickly, but I guess I had a lot to talk about with this film. But like I said, 2 things. When it comes to talking about it as a Godzilla film, it sucks, it blows, it's terrible. But when you talk about it as another kaiju film, you can actually find some enjoyment out of it. So that's all I got for you guys today. Stay tuned for tomorrow for the beginning of the Millennium series and 6 more movies to go. Oh my god, guys, we are getting so close to Godzilla 2014. So, yes, stay tuned for tomorrow for Godzilla 2000, also known as Godzilla 1999, whatever. Yeah, I'll see you guys till then. Stay big, G fans.